And I hope my voice holds out. I'm on a medication that occasionally makes my throat all dry and I lose my voice, which makes very many people in the North Country very happy. You ready? Okay, ready for my close-up, Mr. DeMille. Welcome to the launch of a celebration of our region's special friendship with Canada. We know Canadians as a heartfelt binational message honoring the deep people-to-people bonds that have long defined our relationship with our Canadian neighbors. This effort is not marketing. I can't stress that enough. It's not a marketing campaign. It is a sincere expression of remembrance, gratitude, and friendship, and a moment when reaffirming our shared history matters more than it ever has in the past. For generations, communities in northern New York and in Quebec and Ontario have moved through life together. We know Canadians not merely as neighbors, but as remarkable friends. But friends defined as those you can depend on when you need somebody to depend on in times of challenge and struggle. An initial set of 9 examples are at the heart of this messaging. Each example reminds viewers that our unique connection with Canadians is built upon shared sacrifice, shared compassion, and shared humanity. And a powerful collective video brings these chapters of special friendship to life. I want to thank Christy and Alyssa for all of their work. I came to them with an idea several weeks ago, and I'm sure they were very happy afterwards that I had come to them. And I had it in my head very precisely and very totally, but I had to convey it through several iterations and say, no, that's not what I'm seeing in my head. And they finally saw it in my head, it scared the hell out of them. And they got it there. And I think we're very, very proud of the product, and we're already getting a very good reaction to it. So I'm happy to present We Know Canadians As.
Hearts.
I can't keep my eyes dry every time I see it. We needed it to be emotive, and it was easy to be emotive, but the relationship is so challenged and so special. And they don't believe anymore that we remember. Many Americans don't remember, which is what the messaging is about. If you're Canadians, we do remember. If you're Americans, please remember. And here are some facts, and I'm sure you saw some facts that you didn't know. You knew they were at Normandy with us, you knew some things, but their role in our Civil War with the Union Army, our Civil War, the 61 Medals of Honor for Canadians serving in the U.S. military. I mean, just an amazing retinue of facts, and facts are powerful and stubborn things. And one of the things you've heard me consistently say over these last several months as we've addressed new challenges and wrinkles and upsetment in the U.S.-Canadian relationship. So we have avoided the politics, we continue to. We avoid the policy, we continue to. We're not going to impact those things. And if we get into discussing them, the very people we need to sit back and say, gee, I need to think about this a little more. We'll sit back and think about it a little more because they'll dwell on the politics and the policy. Facts. And once again, putting just plain facts out there that are powerful. And if they don't make people sit back and say, I hadn't been sufficiently valuing the Canadian relationship with the United States, maybe we think that, or we have been underestimating as Canadians how much we are valued and appreciated for the special relationship we've had through the years. Thank you for that. I'm going to ask Christy to come up and tell you how this is going to unroll and unfold now.
Good morning, everyone. Bright and early on a Monday. I appreciate you being here. Like Gary said, he came to me and Alyssa and kind of said, I have this idea. And really, as it kept developing, it became more and more powerful, as you can tell. And even myself, who has been in tourism and economic development in this chamber for decades now, didn't really even know the facts and the depths of it until we were coming through with this. So really, the idea is kind of twofold with this. It's one, it's education to our local community and a reminder of how deeply tied we are, not just the fact that we have businesses here that are from Canada based or we're used to seeing our tourism, but each of us have some sort of impact, whether it's on a grander scale, such as the Civil War to the Medals of Honor. So it's going to start, we're going to start off with social media. Obviously, it's the quickest way to get the message out and to reach the most people. You will see us utilizing both the North Country Chamber feeds as well as the Adirondack Coast. So we reach both audiences in a different way and with different messaging. But the idea is the same, that we're tied together, and no matter how you know the Plattsburgh region, how you know us, or how we utilize Quebec in our relationship with them, there is something to be told. So locally, we're going to really use the messaging of how intertwined we are and why this relationship is so important. And then the ones that are going to be geared towards Quebec, those posts are going to be about we acknowledge this relationship and this continued friendship. We also have a so on the social media side, when we go back there, it's going to start with a video that will actually post in 4 minutes. So y'all know. And then throughout the next couple of months, each fact, each image will go up on its own, and we'll really be able to emphasize that moment and that relationship and what made that so critical to us. And then what we're encouraging when it comes to that is our community members and our community liaisons to share that message, to help us get it farther out. So if you see it on the Chamber's social, whether it's LinkedIn or Facebook, please share it with your network as well. It will also be on LinkedIn. Talk about it if you can. Bring it up to any meetings that you may have. Let's get that out there. There is a website dedicated to this, which will also be linked in any of our social, northcountrychamber.com. We know Canadians as, and each image is there for you to share as you wish. So if there's one that maybe sticks out with you, that resonates within you, within your relationship, within your confines, please feel free to share that as well. There's also the op-ed piece that Gary wrote a couple months ago for the Gazette that got kind of rave reviews and started us down this road. So I encourage everybody to go and read that as well. The website will continue to evolve as things continue to take shape. So right now it is a strong social focus, but we are looking at ways we can advertise into Montreal, whether that is newspaper, whether that's television, however we can get this message out. We'll continue to look at that. We're also looking at our partners not only here in the U.S., but we also have gave sneak peeks to the Consulate General as well as the Delegate General of Canada and Quebec, and they are on board to help us get this message out as well, so we really appreciate that as well. The big thing is all of us just talking about it, sharing it, making sure that, you know, it's a positive understanding of this relationship, why it's so important, and like Gary said, this isn't marketing. It's not about the dollars coming back to our community, it's not about people coming to visit, but it's really acknowledging this special relationship and how important it is, as well as letting our friends and family to the north, we all have some connection, that we understand it and we're here. And so really, anything that me and Alyssa are going to do on the marketing side, so to speak, is all about continuing to reach that as well.
Maybe before I ask for questions, let me ask about any comments from any of our guests. You're not usually shy.
Gary, I just got to say that having had the opportunity to see this at the Chamber Retreat, it's a powerful message. In the season of gratitude, what a more fitting way to celebrate our friends, right? I think a lot of times during the holidays, we look around the table to that absent chair, and a lot of our Canadian friends haven't been down in a while because of hurt feelings, but this is our thank you note to them. And thank you to the Chamber, and thank you to the team for putting it together, but thank you to our friends to the north for being more than friends.
Questions?
Yeah, considering the relationship federally, how much impact can this have?
It's not the aim. This is not about the government-to-government disagreements and situations. It's about the people-to-people relationship, and so I'm going to keep it focused on that. We're not looking to affect the federal government. We're not looking to affect the politics, except in the indirect manner that more Americans, if they were to see this kind of messaging, will be more appreciative of the Canadian relationship versus what many of them may now be thinking. And in terms of Canadians, to be a little more open to their American friends by realizing, oh, they get it, they appreciate us. Maybe we need to value that while still being unhappy about the government related activities. So that's what the messaging is aimed at. It's not really aimed at the politics of the governments. It's going around the governments and it's aimed at the people.
He talks about how this is kind of a thank you to Canadians, and of course, more so locally, I guess, to our region, to up north. How are they feeling when they visit this area when you speak with them? What do they tell you?
Those that are continuing to come, and there still are many that are, we talk about the visitation being off about 30%, which is a lot. We'd like to see that reversed at some point, maybe next year. We still got to remind ourselves 30% traffic is down, 70% is still coming. So they still are very much here, they're still enjoying the area. The topic will come up about their unhappiness with tariffs and policy matters. But they generally aren't holding it against us, they're holding it against the American people, they're holding it against the government. But that is in turn affecting the people-to-people relationship in a manner we've never seen. We've never seen this rightful burst of Canadian patriotism. They have a right to be patriotic. Just look at the connection with some of the very same things through history that we're very proud to be connected with. But we need to let them know, as which this campaign does, that we understand, we appreciate, we remember. The words that are on each one of those slides, we remember.
You say traffic's down about 30%. Could you tell me when that is from, like last year or the last 5 years?
Compared to last year, on a month-to-month comparison basis. It's settled in the spring between 28 and 32% in any given month. So that's where it settled in for this year in terms of the trend in the number of Canadians crossing the border in the local area.
You mentioned social media to, put this video on the social media and stuff. And Christy, you mentioned potentially newspapers and things like that. But other than social media, I mean, this video is too long for like a 30-second or a 60-second spot on TV. What else are you thinking of, how else are you thinking of distributing it, above and beyond the social media?
You want to-
Yeah. So this video, while it's launching what we're doing, isn't the end-all be-all of this campaign. So on each of these images has been made to be its own standalone. And the idea is that as we develop and look into different mediums, such as newspaper or a television commercial, we will look for ways to adapt this to that desired media. Newspaper, some of the things we're kind of tossing around is kind of a mosaic and a grid of all these facts together, so you can kind of see the timeline of how it all happens within the branding that we have. We've talked about shortening it too for social media, so it's not 3.5 minutes long, but there's like 30-second clips that we can take and kind of not only have the music that creates a great sense, but also that fact and kind of really spotlight that as well. So this is really the overarching concept and brand of it all, and then we will continue to evolve this brand and this idea for the mediums that we continue to choose and resonate. A lot of it's going to be based off of what we're getting too, who's interacting with it, who's seeing it, where are they getting information, where can we continue to talk to that audience as well. As with anything, whenever you're putting a message out there, it's all about adaptation to whose eyeballs are on it and who's really resonating with it and how do we get it to those people as well. So this is really the overarching start of it, and then we will continue to form it under this brand as well.
And we may add some things. We already are aware of a number of things that are also powerful facts. So I can see us down the road adding some, beyond the initial 9, adding some additional facts.
The video is really targeting the Canadian audience. How expansive can you get to make Americans, particularly outside of this region, get interested in this video and learn about the relationship?
Well, I'm hoping that you're all a first step in that direction by making this viral on American media. There continues to be a lot of interest nationally in media across the country. Yes, related to tariffs, which we're not getting into talking about, but still, it relates to this in terms of topic. So I think the more you can help us get this out through your networks and so on, the better. I hope to see it on the websites of our local newspapers, on the websites of our TV stations. And the encouragement, of course, in like this, we want it to go viral. I hate that term, but we want it to go viral. Viral reminds me of the pandemic. I hate to remember that. We want this in a digital media sense to go viral. And I think it can get picked up broadly across the country, particularly across the northern part of the country, with other border areas that I think will be hungry for seeing some approach that somebody's taken. So maybe they'll want to use, maybe they'll want to do something similar. Oh, maybe this is something we ought to do as well, and brand it for our area. We're fine with that.
Gary? Okay. I think when we're pointing at this side of the border, we're kind of preaching to the choir. Is there a way you're going to hope to get this message to our Canadian neighbors, or in my case, my relatives? A lot of people in this room with that same situation.
Yeah,
This is family, so we need to get the message to them. I think on this side, you're going to find very few people who would not already have this feeling already that we want these Canadians to keep coming down here as our
they have
neighbors.
the feeling, but I think even if they already have the feeling, it's reinforced by facts that they weren't aware of, hadn't thought of in this context. That's why we wanted to make it about powerful facts, not about we think, we feel, maybe this ought to be, no, just stating facts. I think as you've seen, the facts are very, very powerful. So I think even many of our friends individually and their businesses in the region can post this, distribute it, forward it once it's on social media, put it on their own social media, have them send it to family members on the other side of the border who will send it on to other family members. That's what we really want to see happen. And then Christy and Alyssa will be devising and carrying out a real campaign over the coming weeks to not just put it kind of passively on our social media outlets, but to really use all the tools that are out there through Facebook and Google, etc., to really push it out there in a broader sense so more and more Canadians in particular see it. But I want to stress again, it's also important that Americans see it. There's two audiences to this. Canadians know that they're appreciated and that we do remember, we get it. But to Americans who say, maybe you've forgotten, if you knew these things, here's a reminder. If you didn't, here's something to think about.
You discussed traffic overall being low over the past several months, whether it be down 30%, and that's foot traffic, cars coming across the border. What about business sentiment in the North Country? Is this turning businesses away at all?
And the impact varies. We're down on car traffic, particularly over the summer, by 30%. On the other hand, hotel occupancy remained very strong because of business travel and other travel taking place in the area, and the work of our BCB to market to the south, downstate, New Jersey, etc., which has been successful since the pandemic, which helps to cushion it. But the reminder is, so even if you're still doing well, imagine how you'd be doing if our Canadian friends come back as well. And we'd be in a real boom time. But there also are some very demographic differences. Some studies of who the Canadians are who aren't coming show us the ones who are most, it ranges the strongest predisposition to not come anymore, which is the older population. The people who remember things like this, like many of the facts that we're putting out there, they're from that generation, they remember those things. And it's why they feel hurt, and why they feel violated by their American friends. We need to convey to them. But the younger population are the ones coming the most. Where the most, you don't want to say shrug it off, it's not that at all. They are the most, oh, I still want to go there, yeah, I'm kind of upset with the president, etc. But I'm still going to go down and ski at Whiteface, or I'm still going to do what I'm going to do. That has caused some differences in impact in types of businesses. One, just as an example, the golf courses took a real particular hit this last summer. Well, who's the demographic that's coming from Canada to golf courses in the North Country? The older demographic. So it varies by what demographic they're serving, as well as just kind of some very general impacts. Thank you all. Will be available.